Yes people, what is happening? I am BA, back once again with another movie reaction. This week I will be reacting to Knock at the Cabin. What do I know about this film? I know that it's written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and I absolutely love M. Night Shyamalan. True story, back in the day he was actually my pound for pound favourite director. After his first 4 movies, that was The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs and The Village. I love a twist ending, they are the punchline of cinema, and it's very hard to write a good one and very hard to pull it off well. His first 4 films essentially had 3 of my favourite twist endings, being The Village and Unbreakable and Sixth Sense. One of my favourite movies of all time is Unbreakable. It's easily in my top 10. I know a lot of people prefer The Sixth Sense to Unbreakable, but for me it's Unbreakable. It's incredible. It was before the superhero movie had conquered the earth, and it was one of the best, like, if superheroes were real, how could this happen? And while going with that concept, it also had an incredible twist ending. I absolutely loved Unbreakable, I absolutely loved The Sixth Sense, and the twist at the end of The Village was amazing too, although I have later learned that a similar twist was once used in a French novel, and it's debatable if he borrowed it from the novel or not. It doesn't really matter to me, because if you read enough EC comics, shock suspense stories, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Vault, Tales from the Dark Side, etc. All these twists were done before in comic form in one way or another back in the day. If you like a good twist, I highly recommend you look into the history of EC Comics, specifically their science fiction and horror stories. And as you go from story to story, you will be so impressed at the way they constantly have clever twists. That's why I chose to react to Tales from the Crypt for this channel, because they are all based on the old EC comic stories, so almost every single Tales from the Crypt episode is working towards some sort of little twist ending. But yeah, then M. Night had a little bit of a dip in form with Lady in the Water and The Last Airbender movie, which was absolutely terrible. I couldn't even believe he had directed it when I watched it. It was nothing like his earlier work. I understand, he was starting with small scale concept projects, and that was his opportunity to do essentially a big blockbuster, but for me his writing and directing style is 100% better suited to small concept movies. But then he had a return to form after The Happening. Devil was kind of alright, it was back to that, small concept movie, but still not one of my favourite ones. I'm not too religious. I guess Devil would be more poignant to someone who is a believer of such things. It was still quite clever, but then he definitely got back into gear with movies like The Visit and Split. Then he did Glass, which to me, Glass was like 45 minutes of great stuff mixed in with another hour of not so great stuff, which is a shame. Even from the first scene, I thought Glass was quite flawed and came across cheesy with the people doing happy slaps with a Superman punch. It was an unnecessarily over-elaborate martial arts technique for the trend of happy slapping. Had they made that initial scene more violent and just brutal, I think it would have worked better. But they chose to go with an elaborate martial arts move, and I get it, Superman punch and Bruce Willis is super. I get what he was doing, but still it would have been better if it was just a horrible, violent happy slap, which led to his intervention. So from the very first scene, I had issues with that movie. And then the last half hour, don't get me started. There was one good twist as to the origin of the character from Split, which I did see coming, but then the twist after that just did not work for me, and then how they finished the movie didn't work for me. But then it also had one of my favourite scenes in any of his films, where Samuel L. Jackson's character was saying to Bruce Willis, if you really are who you think you are, you will break down that door, otherwise a lot of people are going to get hurt. And that scene with Bruce Willis in his cell and the door, oh man, it was so good, and such a shame that the movie is flawed quite heavily in other places. But regardless, I've essentially just reviewed his entire back catalogue there, which I wasn't planning to do, but that just shows how much I love M. Night Shyamalan. So this is Knock at the Cabin. I've clearly been looking forward to checking this movie out. Didn't even need to see a trailer for it. I do not check out trailers for things I'm not on the fence about. I know I'm going to watch it, so why ruin a single frame of footage for myself? So I'm going into this completely blind, just the way I like it. This is Knock at the Cabin. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. And another thing I'll say about M. Night before we get into this story is, at least he tries things. Like, you can't watch one of his movies and say, oh, I've seen this before, he's just retreading X ground. He sometimes is hit or miss, but it's because he tries different concepts in his movies. He's very much a precursor to Jordan Peele and how Jordan Peele works, and I just love directors that try unique things while lacing their stories with theme, usually twists, and just generally going for a concept and sticking to that concept. So far we've had a map and a picture of the cabin and a lot of dead body drawings. I'm assuming there's going to be some dead bodies at the cabin by the end of this movie. It's about time a grasshopper got a goddamn close-up. Or are they crickets? I always find it hard to figure out what is the actual difference between a grasshopper and a cricket. Somebody in the comments will know. Feel free to, exert your dominance and let us all know the difference. Whatever they are, she is a dab hand at catching these fuckers.
I'm just gonna learn about you for a little while. Is that okay?
That's cool. Good to have an interest in nature. I used to own a bearded dragon, and unfortunately their meal was live locusts, so I used to have a sack of live locusts in my house. I had to get used to handling them and feeding them to the bearded dragon. He was a legend. He was called G. He was a G. Okay, she doesn't look like she knows this guy. That's instantly creepy. Oh, it's Dave Bautista. That's like the last guy you want walking up on you. He could break one of those trees in half.
Can I talk to you for a little bit?
No.
What's your name?
Wenling. But everyone calls me Wen.
Wen, where the fuck are your parents and why are you not screaming?
I see you're catching grasshoppers. Can I help you?
I guess so.
I didn't expect Dave Bautista to be playing such a creepy character. Not to say he's evil, but, he's definitely coming across that way.
All the other kids at school only have one dad. All the Disney Channel shows only have one dad, too.
Okay, so she's been adopted by two men. Where are these father figures?
What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I love the extreme close-ups and the Dutch angle they're using to create disorientation and, us not being able to see the surroundings.
We'll take turns pulling petals off and asking questions. And by the time we're done, we'll know each other better. Be better friends.
Okay.
God, she's so stupid having this conversation with a stranger in the woods.
Okay, your turn.
Why are you here?
Good question.
Well, I suppose I'm here to make friends with you. And your dad's.
That doesn't sound like a legit reason.
I don't have a scar like you. But if you could look inside, you'd see that my heart is broken.
What a strange thing to say.
They're friends?
You're my friend, Wen.
What the fuck?
I'm afraid the three of you are going to have to make some tough decisions. Terrible decisions. And I wish with all my broken heart that you didn't have to.
Oh my god. What is going on?
His name's Leonard. He says we had to help them. He says they have the most important job in the history of the world.
I don't believe Leonard. Maybe he's right though. And there is the knock at the cabin. I don't fancy these two guys' chances against Dave Bautista.
This guy's freaking huge. What do we do?
Why do these guys not have any firearms in the house? One gun would solve this problem.
This isn't easy for us either. None of us have been to this lake before. The four of us, we never thought we'd be here talking to you nice people.
This is an insane opening. It's gripping as fuck.
The four of us are here because we're trying to save a whole bunch of people. But we need your help to do that.
Is he being honest? Who are they trying to save?
There's a woman carrying something that looks like a pick with a chain and a mallet head at the end.
Please tell me these guys have at least one gun in this house. I wouldn't be living in no woodland cabin without a couple shotguns and a Glock.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah, well, we don't have a choice either. We're calling the cops.
Do not open this door.
Sorry, we had to cut the phone line.
Good excuse to disable all technology instantly. Things are always creepier without a working mobile phone.
If you want to talk, then why do you have those scary weapons with you?
They're not weapons, Wen. They're tools.
Yeah, tools to kill people.
I have a gun!
You brought it here? Yes. No, it's in the safe in the back of the truck.
Wow, so he's got the gun but it's outside in the truck. That is not good news. That chair isn't going to stop those weapons. This is an absolute nightmare for people unarmed. And even if you go to the kitchen and get knives, they just do not have a chance against giant pole weapons and sledgehammers and shit. I'm not necessarily pro firearm in urban environments, but I'm definitely pro firearm when you're out by yourself in the countryside. Yeah, they're so outmatched here. They have no chance if these guys want instant violence.
One is in the back. One is downstairs. Let's make a run for it to the car.
Good strategy. It's not gonna work, but at least they tried.
Eric! Let me help him.
I mean, the way that woman's acting though, it doesn't seem like she's evil. What in the hell is going on?
We have to go, Daddy.
He seems like he's just had a hemorrhage on the floor. Oh nice, he's got hands. Was not expecting that. No offence to the homosexuals, but you're not traditionally known for your boxing skills, is all I'm saying.
Andrew, that's enough.
Oh, please tell us what you want. Is this him coming out to his parents? Interesting time to have a flashback. Mid-melee.
Drove for 7 hours and stayed 45 minutes.
I'm sorry.
What do you expect?
Well, you know, fuck his parents for not being accepting of their son.
Try not to move.
Oh, at least he's not dead instantly. I thought he'd just hit his head off the floor and was instantly dead. So far, these weapon-wielding intruders seem alright. I never thought I'd be saying that.
Hey, Eric. You feeling any better?
Batista has an incredibly circular head.
Empathy. And tolerance? Is that what you're here to talk about now that you have the queers tied up?
I don't think he's here to beat up homosexual people.
I don't hate anybody. I do have conflicted feelings about this door.
Doors will do that to you.
I mean, we're normal people just like you. We have no choice.
There's always a choice!
So what has shook up these guys so much that they had to come here?
Choices make our destiny. I almost got that tattooed.
Thankfully you didn't.
There's always a choice. So we choose to be here.
Is this one of them movies where these guys aren't bullshitting and there's like a greater danger, or what they're trying to do is legitimate?
I have a little half-sister back home. And when you kind of remind me of her.
This would be so terrifying for that poor child as well.
You know, this get to know you stuff doesn't matter at all. Doesn't change what we have to do.
What do they have to do? I'm trying not to ask so many questions, but this film is structured in a way that makes me ask all the questions.
Did a lot of questionable stuff when I was young and stupid. But I'm much better now.
Yeah, you look it. Glad to see rehabilitation has worked.
If you're trying to recruit us, I mean, why else bother introducing yourselves to us, right?
I get the feeling they're not trying to recruit them.
There's nothing we can do about that.
He's like, we're gonna get better if he rests in a darkened room or if we make it dark in here.
This woman seems a bit crazy, just by her erratic facial expressions, and her potential tattoo choice.
Before I got up here, I was a line cook at a Mexican restaurant in DuPont Circle, DC.
Sounds alright?
Oh, I have 2 cats.
Makes sense.
The 4 of us are here to prevent the apocalypse.
How the fuck do you prevent the apocalypse in this cabin?
You are having a psychological break of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the way this will sound. They might be telling the truth, but they definitely sound just like a crazy cult.
Your family must choose to willingly sacrifice one of the 3 of you in order to prevent the apocalypse.
Okay, that just sounds insane.
If you fail to choose, or if you fail to follow through with the sacrifice, the world will end.
It definitely sounds like he believes what he's saying, whether he's crazy or not.
You're just the family chosen to decide for us in this time.
If I was them, my first question would be like, where is your evidence? How is the apocalypse happening? How are we in any way responsible for the outcome? Please explain it in greater detail. Just saying that shit sounds fucking insane.
We cannot and will not choose who is to be sacrificed for you. And just as importantly, we cannot act for you.
Why can't they even kill themselves? So they're forcing them to kill their own loved one. That is so fucked.
We couldn't stop drawing the visions we saw. I actually thought something was wrong with me.
That's even worse. They don't have any scientific evidence. They're just all having visions.
And that led us here, to this exact cabin. We have no idea why we were picked.
Why did they choose such medieval weaponry as well? Why didn't they just get some guns?
There is something wrong with you. With all of you, if you believe this.
Obviously, we would all assume the same. These guys just sound like they're crazy at this point. It is creepy that they were all led to one another by their visions, but aside from that, just insanity.
We've been shown that only your sacrifice can stop it.
Shown by who? By what?
That's what I would ask.
For every no you give us, we will unleash a plague for the sins of humanity.
Side note, I didn't know Batista was this good an actor. He's gripping so far. What is he doing? This is so tense. This film has just thrown me into instant suspense and tension.
Whatever it is you think you're convinced of, it isn't real. This isn't real.
They just instantly killed him. So I take it that was because they said no, that was like an instant judgment they had to do to that guy. I don't know why I'm trying to logicize it from their perspective, but they might be telling the truth. Oh, thank God. I'm actually thankful I've been pulled out of that into a flashback now. It allows me to alleviate the tension for a second. I'm happy to see their gay background story now. That shit was just too tense to keep me in.
Mr. and Mrs. Brooks?
Yes. My wife couldn't be here today. This is her brother.
Oh, so is it the biological child of one of these two guys then? I assumed they just adopted her.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, Gwen.
Hey.
It's a cool kid. Oh no, now we're back in the tenseness. Keep me in that other happy place for a minute, please. I have absolutely no idea where this film is going from here, but man, it is good so far.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to change the channel for a little bit, okay?
Go fuck yourself, Mr. Rogers.
Fair response.
You hear that gorgeous crispy crunch?
M. Night with his cameo. He always has a cameo.
The U.S. National Tsunami Warning Center has issued a cautionary advisory to British Columbia.
Maybe these guys are telling the truth. That would be crazy. I mean, right now they could still just be insane doomsdayers, or they could be 100% telling the truth.
Now, as you can tell from our live feed, this resort on Kauai has already been evacuated.
Doesn't look world-ending so far. Looks like a mild flood. A little swimming pool.
Just keep watching until we see what was shown to us.
It'll be crazy if these guys are actually right. Well, it won't be, but, you know, it also will be. They'll be crazy if they're actually wrong.
The tsunami has indeed hit the Oregon shoreline, and we have footage shot minutes ago from Cannon Beach.
It must be so fucked up for these guys if they've genuinely had visions of this, and then to the letter it is playing out. Oh, holy shit. So right now it definitely does seem like these people are being honest. Well, after I saw that, I would certainly believe these people.
You okay? I'm okay.
It just sucks for this family that they just so happen to be the ones that can intervene and stop this, I guess. But right now it seems like these guys are being honest, and just this family is the unlucky people who can prevent it by killing one of themselves.
Gwen, come check out the view. It's better than the website.
That is an amazing lake. I don't trust there not to be a Jason Voorhees to be underneath the surface of the water at this point, but, you know, visually, looks nice. Bob Ross would be proud to paint that.
Truth is, I haven't even been to church since my grandma forced me to go when I was little.
Okay, so they're not religious weirdos either. That again would make me believe them more.
I built my weapon exactly the way it was shown to me.
Even though weapons were in a vision, that makes sense. Otherwise they're just really creative and enjoy medieval weaponry.
Eric, you need to trust something more than you. You may not want to believe it, but we're all on the same side.
The one thing I don't get is, Batista said to him, you three will survive and the rest of humanity will perish. How will these three be lucky enough to be the only three that live if everybody else dies? That doesn't make sense to me, because there'll be other people in the area where they are. Surely they won't be affected by the tsunamis and the other catastrophic events if these guys aren't. There'll be people in underground shelters, underground government bases. What would explain these three being the only three to live through it?
You know, that first earthquake happened over 4 hours ago, right? Before they showed up here. Leonard's checked this watch 1,000 times. They've been timing all of this.
That could also be true. They could be using news events to their advantage, but they did kill one of the 4 of them.
They're trying to manipulate us. They take you alone in there and try and talk to you. I don't believe them.
He seemed like he kinda was thinking about what they were saying before, but he did also say to the woman he's on his family's side, so just now he's still team family, not team apocalypse.
Redmond is the guy from the bar. What? Are you sure?
Oh, so they have seen this guy before.
This is all some kind of sick scam to get us to hurt each other.
That's not true.
We don't know why each of us is here.
Wow, that would be a crazy twist if that was true. I'm not sure I believe this guy, but that would be crazy.
Didn't he tell us about this cabin on the message board first? And then we all had visions of a cabin?
I don't know.
Message board?
Yeah, they said they all met for the first time at the pier, but if they were all part of a message board, they were sharing ideas before they met.
Girls 5 and 6. If you could hear them laugh, you'd understand why I'm here.
Now this guy's starting to convince me they might just be crazy. If they were all communicating on a message board first, that does raise suspicion. And if that guy was a bartender who had targeted them years before for being homosexual. Not sure now. It's raised doubt.
They say if you can make an egg great, you can do anything.
That's not true. I know people that can fry eggs that could not do brain surgery.
You're a good person.
That was the right choice. Do not go into communication with this woman. She seems like the craziest out of all of them.
You got online and you found random people who had random visions and you took that as evidence.
Oh, this guy's starting to convince me they're just crazy now.
I'm gonna be straight up. I'm the next one to go.
Good, you're the craziest. You should have went first.
None of this can stop until you make a choice. Don't you get that already?
Also, if they're telling the truth, things will have progressed on the news. They should show them more news maybe to convince them, if they're telling the truth.
I've watched my little boy burned alive as I held him in my arms. Everything was burning.
That there is proof that her vision is flawed, because she can't hold her boy in her arms while he's burning alive, because she is the next to be sacrificed. So their visions can't all be real.
His name is Charlie. He likes pancakes.
I never knew the love of pancakes would be so moving.
Very well.
Close your eyes. Cover your ears.
I will say, if they kill this woman and then another catastrophic event happens, I would 100% believe them. The ceremonial side of it, them laying down the weapon and putting on a white hood, it does seem very suicide cultish. Not quite as good as Heaven's Gate, who all got to wear Nikes at least. If you've never heard of Heaven's Gate, look that shit up. Crazy cult.
A part of humanity has been judged.
I like that the movie is kind of low violence. It's suggesting the violence without having to show us the grotesqueness of someone getting their head axed.
I'll move her into the other room so they don't have to see her.
Also, this is beneficial to these two guys if they get free, because now it's just 2 against 2, essentially. 2 guys might be able to overpower Batista. They're evening the odds for them with their home invasion.
Sabrina, put on the TV, please.
Now is the time, whether I believe them or not. If they turn on the news and some next catastrophic shit has went down, I 100% believe these guys.
These outbreaks seem to be originating in 3 distinct pockets of the world.
Oh damn, the UK was one of them. That's not good.
I think I saw something, Andrew. What? What are you saying?
What, he's had a vision now as well?
In the reflection in the mirror. When you were standing behind Redmond. Right before you struck him.
I saw a little glare just before they struck him in the mirror, but I swear that was just sun glare.
It's a news report. They all knew about it before they showed up here and knowingly made it a part of their narrative.
Ah, shit. Again, this guy is convincing me that they could still be crazy.
They knew this virus show would be on at this time, just like they knew the Alaskan earthquake and the tsunami warning had already happened before they showed up here.
He's doing such a good job at keeping me unsure.
Always together.
You don't talk to him from now on, you talk to me.
Yeah, concussion guy seems like the weak member of the family who may be convinced by them.
Everyone needs you.
No!
If he can just get outside and get that gun, they have the upper hand.
Andrew?
Ah, why didn't he look behind him when she called his name? What an idiot. That was a good move with the mud in the eyes, but if she wants to get in this car, she can just battle axe the windows. He doesn't even have bullets in the clip. For fuck's sake, mate. Talk about unprepared.
I don't want to have to hurt you! Come back inside!
That is brutal. Fucking stop stabbing him. Okay, the tides have turned now, he's got a pistol. I think he only put 3 rounds in there though, that is not enough. While she's backing up, he should load that clip up fully. And what is the point? Surely you would only need a gun in an emergency. Why bring it in a case with the bullets not even put in the clip and the clip not even put in the pistol? How many steps do you need to go through to react in a perilous situation when that is your setup? Fair enough, have it in a lockbox so the kid can't get it, but it's to save you in a moment of danger. Have a round chambered.
Drop the weapon and move away from Eric, or I'll show you I was chosen to put a bullet in your head. Drop it now, Leonard, or I'll kill you.
Oh, this is tense. I take it she is the next sacrifice. Okay, if they put on the television and a third thing has happened, I do have to side with the Doomsdayers at that point. Regardless of what great argument the guy who always has a good argument for them still being crazy has. There's only so much that can be a coincidence.
I have never, for 1 second of my life, ever doubted loving you.
Is this the tavern where he's targeted?
Were we being loud?
I'm trying to have a drink with my friends.
Oh, we were being too loud?
Oh, that's annoying, we never got to see his face. It would be crazy if they were imagining things differently and it wasn't the same guy.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Looks like it could have been the same guy though. M. Night Shyamalan is doing a masterful job of directing this and keeping me in suspense, even at this point in the movie. Oh, okay, everything is being explained. This is why this guy has hands, because after he was targeted, he actually got his ass to the boxing gym and learned how to defend himself. That's cool. All people should know how to defend themselves. In a time where only evil people are sufficiently able to commit acts of violence, good people have no chance. Good people need to learn how to throw them hands, get your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belts, get a firearm, do what you need to do to protect you and yours.
Part of humanity has been judged.
Ugh. The method of execution is so brutal.
Keep an eye on Leonard. Yell if he does anything.
Well, I'd say at this point, Batista is outmatched and outnumbered. I mean, he's not got a firearm. He's the last one left. There's 2 of these guys and they have a gun. The only thing that will change the story now is if he turns on the news a 3rd time and some serious shit has went down. Ah, so it was the guy from the bar.
A young woman who can be persuaded of anything. I didn't believe for a second that Adrian had a kid, Leonard.
I wonder if she did have a kid or not, now he said that.
We need to get to that vehicle.
You're wrong about all of us.
Like I said, if he's telling the truth, he should just ask them to turn the news on.
Leonard? If I open this door and I see you, I will shoot you.
Way to change the rules. You told him to stay in the bathroom a minute ago. Now he's escaped. If he's still there, you're going to shoot him. That's unfair. No way Batista fit through that fucking tiny window. No, I didn't think he did. Seemed like an impossibility. Well, now the tides have turned once again. The advantage goes to whoever has the gun.
No one's gonna do what you said.
Terrifying images as we see yet another passenger aircraft plummet to the ground.
Eric, what are you doing?
I would have to side with Batista at this point. Definitely looks like some doomsday shit to me. Yeah, I think I'm officially on Team Batista now. One of you guys are gonna have to die. Do what he says.
We now have confirmation of as many as 700 airplanes having crashed without warning.
There can't be any other explanation for that. That is a lot of aeroplanes.
It is hard. Excuse me.
Excuse me. It is hard to describe
the images
that we're seeing.
Yeah, I 100% believe him now. Wow.
How the fuck did you know what she was gonna say? Is this some closed-circuit TV? Did you guys pump this in?
This guy at this point needs to just understand that he might be in fact telling the truth. If anything, I elect him to be the one that died because he was the one that prolonged this shit and caused all those human lives to be lost.
Let's get out of here and never come back. Don't listen to Leonard anymore.
I also think Concussion Guy is fully convinced at this point, and potentially the daughter. I think the only guy left in this room who does not want to believe it is the guy who had the gun.
When I'm gone, you only have minutes to stop everything. After that, it'll be too late.
Oh, no. I don't want Batista to die at this point. If he was telling the truth, I feel so bad for him. He's going to kill himself, and then they're going to be convinced and have to kill one of themselves anyway. They better not kill the kid, I'll tell you that. And they better not let the world end around them either. I don't know how this film's going to end, but if it ends in one of those two ways, I will be furious. If anything, I think the lawyer deserves to die, because he was the one that prolonged it, as I said.
Maybe one of the kids I taught do something great for the world. What do you think?
Also, I have to tip my hat to Batista at this point. I had no idea he was this captivating of an actor. I just assumed he was just a run-of-the-mill action star, but he is absolutely killing this role.
All of humanity has been judged.
Oh my god. Even the sky is crackling like the end times are upon them in the background. This is not looking good. I feel like Concussion Guy was convinced quite early on, and the only thing dissuading him was his husband constantly saying this counter rhetoric to him.
Let's just walk the earth then. The three of us.
What kind of life is that for when?
I agree. What kind of life is it? It's not like there'll be a next generation. Yous are two guys. You can't like repopulate the earth. It'll just be you three, and then one day you two will die, and that poor girl will just be wandering a barren wasteland.
Redmond Malice, Adrian Nurturing, Sabrina Healing, Leonard Guidance. They're the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about it like that. That's quite a revelation. No pun intended.
We're supposed to give up our love for them?
It's a sacrifice, Andrew.
That is an incredibly selfish stance to take at this point. This is the guy that deserves to die.
Do it while I'm thinking the most beautiful thought, so that I can have that feeling in my heart to take me right to wherever it is I'm going.
This film has gripped me from beginning to end. So impressive.
She's living her life exactly as she wanted to.
I feel bad it's Concussion Guy that's opting himself up for the sacrifice. It doesn't deserve to be him.
You guys are locking up her office because you guys are going to dinner? She is everything we always hoped for.
So now we're getting a flash forward. That's cool. Oh, well, at least he made the choice.
Did Daddy Eric save everyone?
What a traumatic ordeal for this kid to have to experience as well. Now the tree's knocking at the cabin. At least these guys are still alive. It's a bittersweet ending, this. I hope there's not some secondary miserable twist coming.
And the water just stopped rising.
Switch to the other one.
The last of the planes in Australia and Russia have landed safely.
It seems like it was legit and they definitely saved the world. That's good. At least there's not some horrible second twist where the cult was just tapping into the TV stations or something. probably not the time for that song. But then if the kid wants it, let it roll. Let him mourn a little bit though. But not too much. Loving the subplot of the radio. Okay, and that was Knock at the Cabin, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Knock at the Cabin, what did I think of that? M. Night Shyamalan does it again for me. If by any minuscule chance in hell you ever watch my reaction to this film, M. Night, please always have faith in your concepts and never stop making these brilliant concept movies. Yes, he will probably have more misses in the future, but when they are hits, they are so good, and they are exactly why I first loved his movies as a director. Always so unique, always so original, always keeping you guessing as to what exactly is going on, conceptually brilliant. When I heard the title Knock at the Cabin, and because I didn't watch a trailer, I assumed this might be some sort of by-the-book horror or thriller. It completely wasn't that. From the moment these intruders came into the house, you knew they, at least in their heads, thought what they were doing was right, and also did not seem like bad people. From that, it spiraled into, are they just a weird cult who've got themselves convinced of this happening, or are they in fact preventing an actual apocalypse? And that suspense kept me through the entire film. I can't believe I've just been sitting here for an hour and 40 minutes. It feels like half an hour. That's how gripped I was to this story, the suspense. Everybody's acting performances were brilliant. All the little twists and turns. Every time I thought I knew exactly what was going on, a few seconds later, I was unsure again. The dad who was the lawyer constantly made me think, oh, maybe he's right. And then they would play another news story and I was like, maybe they're right. And I'll flip-flop back and forth between those two mindsets, essentially right up to the conclusion of the movie where Batista eventually sacrificed himself, and then we saw what would have probably have been the end of days occurring, and them finally having to make the tough decision of sacrificing one of themselves for the greater good. And to be honest, if you're going to have to die, to know that your death is preventing the end of the actual world would be such an honourable and pleasing way to go. I could happily sacrifice myself in that scenario with a giant smile on my face, just as the guy who elected to be sacrificed at the end did himself. Dave Bautista absolutely shocked the shit out of me with that acting performance. Truly an emotional one. I had no idea he had that range as an actor. That's my fault for being stereotypical and judging him as an action star. There are many other actors of that action star ilk that I do not believe could have pulled off such an emotional role like the one he was conveying, and he did a brilliant job. I know it's hard to think of roles for a guy of that body type. He basically fits into a specific look which you would only hire for specific jobs, but if there's any way you can get him in more high drama roles, I would 100% watch them after seeing how great a job he did in this movie. And everyone's acting performances were brilliant. From the other three people who were part of the group who knocked at the cabin, to the guys who played the two dads, to the kid, everyone just did brilliant. It didn't need to have a larger cast than that. As I said, just truly gripping stuff, and definitely one of M. Night Shyamalan's best movies in the last decade, for sure. And yeah, like I said, I just hope he never changes. I do not want anybody to ever pass him popcorn blockbusters to direct. If a few of his movies are successful, I hope he turns them all down and goes, no, you know what, I've got a little idea I'm going to write out and I'm going to go film it, because he is at his absolute best when he is taking small concepts like this and filming them. And like I said, sometimes they will not hit, but it is worth it to always make those attempts, because when he does do one right, such as in the case of this movie, they are so memorable. And to me, filmmaking just doesn't get better than things like this. I've never seen anything else like it, and to me that's one of the highest compliments you can pay to a film, and definitely M. Night Shyamalan's career to me, again, will be remembered for that. I can't think of much else that is like anything he does. True mark of a gifted writer and director right there. And I cannot wait to see what he does next. As long as he writes and directs it, I will be there. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.